A mechanic's life took a terrifying turn when a selfless act of kindness plunged her into the shadowy world of the city's most feared mafia boss. Within hours, her son became his leverage, her freedom, his possession, and her existence was irrevocably altered. That night, rain lashed against Chicago's South Side with the intensity of bullets. Anna Moretti, her worn Honda sputtering along Ashland Avenue, battled the downpour, her windshield wipers struggling to clear a path. It was well past midnight, 2 hours later than she should have been home. Yet, Mr. Peterson's transmission overhaul, once again, had consumed more time than anticipated. Still, cash was cash, and cash meant Ethan's school excursion was funded, the electricity bill paid for another month. Single mothers, she knew, didn't have the luxury of refusal. She rubbed her weary eyes, exhaustion a heavy, suffocating blanket. Despite scrubbing her hands raw in the shop's bathroom, they still bore the telltale black of grease. The pervasive scent of motor oil clung to her clothes, hair, and skin. A decade had passed since Ethan's father walked out, leaving her to fight life's battles alone. As she delved deeper into the industrial district, streetlights flickered and died, one by one. This desolate part of town, home to abandoned houses, chop shops, and unspeakable places, emptied out after dark. Anna kept her doors locked, her gaze fixed ahead. Then she saw it. A car, not just any car, but a formidable machine. A black Maserati Gran Turismo, motionless in the road, rain cascading off its sleek curves as if it bled darkness. Its hazard lights were off, no flares visible. Beside it, barely discernible in the faint glow of a lone working streetlight, stood a man. Her primal instinct screamed, "Keep driving! This isn't your problem. Go home." But her mechanic's trained eye registered the uplifted hood. She observed the man's agitated pacing, 3 steps forward, a sharp turn, 3 steps back, his frustration palpable. His hand kept fumbling for his phone, then dropping it. She understood that feeling. She'd been stranded countless times herself. "Just 5 minutes," she promised herself. "Help him start it, then leave." Anna pulled over 90 feet away, leaving her engine running, her hand hovering over the gear shift. The rain hammered a warning rhythm on her roof. Grabbing her ever-present toolkit from the passenger seat, she stepped out into the storm. The cold instantly pierced her, drenching her jacket in seconds. She jogged towards the Maserati, peering through the deluge. "Hey, do you need help?" The man ceased his pacing. Tall, approximately 6 feet 2 inches, he wore a charcoal suit that likely cost more than her annual rent. No umbrella, no raincoat. He stood impervious to the weather. His dark hair was plastered to his forehead. When he turned, Anna's breath hitched. His face was a study in sharp angles, a strong jaw, prominent cheekbones, eyes so dark they appeared black in the dim light. Yet, it wasn't his looks that arrested her. It was the absolute absence of emotion. No relief, no gratitude, simply a blank stare, as if she were a stray dog. "Car trouble?" Anna inquired, striving to keep her voice steady, moving towards the open hood without waiting for permission. Politeness was a luxury when you were drowning. "Battery," he responded, his voice low, controlled, with a distinct East Coast accent. Perhaps New York. "Dead." Anna leaned over the engine, her flashlight beam piercing the rain. A magnificent machine, the kind she'd only seen in magazines. Everything under the hood was pristine, meticulously maintained, save for the corroded, loose battery terminals. "When was this last serviced?" she asked, already reaching for her wrench. 2 weeks ago." "Then your mechanics are robbing you blind." Anna twisted the terminal, scraping away corrosion with her flathead screwdriver. "These connections are shot. Surprised you made it this far." She felt his eyes upon her, not on her work, but on her. A shiver ran down her spine. "You do this for a living?" he inquired. "Yeah. Moretti's Auto Repair, down on 47th. She wasn't sure why she offered the information. Perhaps the silence felt too dangerous. "Been doing it 10 years. My dad taught me before he died." "And you're out here alone, at midnight, helping strangers." Something in his tone made her hand still. It wasn't a question, but an observation, almost as if he were cataloging the information. "Try it now," Anna said, stepping back. He moved to the driver's seat with unnerving calm, and the engine roared to life with the first turn. The sound was beautiful, powerful, predatory. The Maserati purred as if it had never been dead. Anna should have felt relief. Instead, her stomach knotted. The man emerged from the car, rain streaming down his face. He reached into his jacket, and Anna tensed, but he merely produced a thick leather wallet, the kind that held hundreds, not 20s. "How much?" he asked. "Nothing, just get somewhere safe, okay?" Anna retreated towards her Honda, suddenly desperate to leave. "Roads are bad tonight." He didn't move, didn't blink, just gazed at her with those dark eyes. "What's your name?" "Anna." She immediately regretted it. "Look, I have to go. My son's waiting." Anna Moretti, 47th Street, one son. Her blood ran cold. "How do you—" Then she heard them. Engines, multiple, approaching fast. Anna turned to see headlights flooding the street from both directions. Large, black SUVs that screeched to a halt 50 feet away on either side, boxing them in. Doors flew open, and 8, perhaps 10, men in dark clothing poured out. Something metallic glinted in their hands. Guns. "Oh my God," Anna whispered. The man in the suit stepped in front of her, not protectively, but to position himself. His hand disappeared into his jacket again, and this time, when it reappeared, he held a sleek black pistol with a silencer screwed onto the barrel. "Get behind the car," he said quietly. "Don't run." "What's happening?" Anna's legs moved on instinct, ducking behind the Maserati. Her heart hammered against her ribs. This wasn't real. This couldn't be real. She fixed cars. She went home to her son. She didn't. The first gunshot cracked through the rain. Then another. The sound was wrong, muffled by the silencer, yet terrifyingly close. Anna pressed herself against the wet pavement, hands over her head, every survival instinct screaming. It lasted perhaps 30 seconds, perhaps a lifetime. Then silence. Only the rain and footsteps. Anna dared to look up. 2 bodies lay in the street. The other men had retreated to the SUVs, engines revving, clearly regrouping. The man in the suit stood perfectly still, gun at his side, rain washing away the blood splattered on his cuff. He turned to her, not a scratch on him. "Leave no witnesses," he called out to someone. Then his eyes found Anna's. Except her. More footsteps. Men in tactical gear emerged from the SUVs, clearly his people. They moved with military precision, and Anna realized with dawning horror that he had been waiting for them. The stalled car, a perfect ambush point. She had walked directly into it. The man approached, and Anna scrambled backward. He crouched to her level, his emotionless mask still in place. "You fix my engine, Anna Moretti." His voice was almost gentle. "Now you're going to fix my problem." I don't understand." He smiled for the first time. It was worse than the blank stare. "Get up." Anna's legs refused to obey. She remained frozen on the wet pavement, staring at the 2 bodies sprawled in the street like discarded puppets. Rain pooled around them, turning pink. The man grabbed her arm, not roughly but firmly, pulling her to her feet. His grip was warm against her ice-cold skin. "Look at me," he commanded. Anna forced her eyes away from the bodies. Up close, she could see a thin scar cutting through his left eyebrow. His pupils were dilated, yet his breathing was steady. He had just killed 2 men and appeared no more winded than if he'd checked his email. "What's your son's name?" he asked. The question struck her like a physical blow. Don't you dare!" "Name? Ethan?" The word emerged as a sob. "Please, he's only 10. He doesn't know anything about this. I swear I won't tell anyone what I saw." "You won't," he agreed, "because you're coming with me." Before Anna could process this, gunfire erupted again. The remaining SUVs opened fire, muzzle flashes illuminating the rain like lightning. The man shoved Anna behind the Maserati and returned fire with surgical precision. 2 shots. 1 attacker dropped. 3 shots. Another fell, clutching his leg. His men fanned out, using the vehicles as cover. They moved like a machine, each knowing the other's positions. Professional, trained, military perhaps, or worse. "Marco!" the man shouted. "Flank left! Nico, suppressing fire!" A younger man, perhaps 25, baby-faced but holding a rifle as if it were an extension of his body, sprinted across the street. Bullets chased him, sparking off the asphalt. He didn't flinch. The attackers were now retreating, dragging their wounded back to the SUVs. One screamed something in what sounded like Russian. The man beside Anna stood completely exposed and fired 4 more rounds, each calculated, each finding its mark. The lead SUV's tires exploded. The second SUV's windshield shattered. Then, as abruptly as it began, it was over. The SUVs peeled away, engines screaming, leaving their dead behind. The man's team didn't pursue, holding position, weapons trained on the retreating vehicles until the taillights vanished into the rain. Silence crashed back down. Anna's ears rang. Her hands trembled so violently she had to clasp them together. This wasn't happening. This was a nightmare. She would wake up in her apartment, Ethan asleep in the next room, and none of this would be real. "Clear!" one of the men called out. Holstering his weapon, the man in the impeccably tailored suit turned to Anna, not a single bead of sweat marring his brow. "Are you hurt?" he inquired. Anna shook her head, her voice momentarily lost. "Good," he responded, pulling out his phone. With a flick of his thumb, he typed a brief message. "Clean this up," he instructed his men, gesturing toward the fallen figures. 30 minutes, make it vanish." The men sprang into action without a moment's hesitation. Finally, finding her voice, Anna pressed. "Who are you?" A youthful-looking man named Marco burst into an unexpected laugh. "You don't know, lady? You just saved Dante Russo's life." The name, Dante Russo, struck Anna with the force of a physical blow. Everyone in Chicago knew it, whispered in hushed tones in bars, hinted at in tantalizing news reports. He was the enigmatic figure who commanded the South Side, untouchable by law enforcement, feared even by other criminals. Whispers claimed he'd taken his first life at 16, that his empire was forged from the ashes of 5 rival families, and that he didn't merely dabble in the city's underworld. He owned it outright. Anna had always dismissed these tales as exaggerated urban legends, Chicago's own boogeyman. Yet, here he stood. Dante observed her dawning realization with cool detachment, akin to a scientist studying a laboratory specimen. A chill ran down Anna's spine as she met his gaze, the weight of his power settling heavily upon her. "Now you understand," he stated. "I need to go home," Anna's voice cracked, revealing her fear. "My son is at 2847 West Monroe Street, apartment 4B. Dante rattled off the address with an unnerving ease, as if reciting a grocery list. 4th floor walk-up, blue door, broken lock you keep meaning to fix. Anna's blood ran cold. "How do you know where I live?" she demanded. "I know everything about you now, Anna Moretti," he calmly replied. "I know Ethan attends Jefferson Elementary. I know you're 3 months behind on rent. I know his father, David Chen, hasn't paid child support in 8 years. He took a menacing step closer. I know you're alone, vulnerable, desperate. Stay away from my son, she attempted to assert, but the words faltered, morphing into a desperate plea. That depends entirely on you, Dante declared, motioning to one of his men. Take her to the compound, ensure her comfort. 2 men advanced. Anna recoiled, but retreat was impossible. Her Honda was hemmed in, and she was encircled by armed men who moved like wraiths. No, wait, I won't tell anyone, I promise. Just let me go home. Dante's voice was a silken stream of reason. You're not a prisoner, Anna. You're under my protection. There's a distinction. I don't want your protection, she retorted. Yes, you do. You just don't realize it yet. He gave a subtle nod to his men. Those weren't random thugs. That was the Volkov Bratva, the Russian mob. They've been trying to kill me for 6 months, and now they've seen you with me, helping me. The implications settled in Anna's gut like a lead weight. They'll assume you're important to me, Dante continued, which means they'll come for you. And when they do, they won't be courteous. They'll use you to hurt me. They'll use Ethan. No, Anna gasped, her knees threatening to buckle. Dante's hand, surprisingly gentle, caught her elbow, steadying her. But under my protection, they wouldn't dare touch either of you. The Russos protect their own. Always. I'm not one of yours, she insisted. You are now? He released her, striding toward his Maserati, its engine purring perfectly. You repaired my engine, saved my life. In my world, that incurs a debt, and debts must be settled. He slipped into the driver's seat, rain glistening on his hair as it brushed the leather. Through the window, his dark eyes met hers one last time. Welcome to the family, Anna Moretti. The compound, A mansion masquerading as a fortress loomed on the outskirts of Chicago. Through the tinted SUV windows, Anna watched massive iron gates swing open. Security cameras tracked their every movement. Armed guards, caps pulled low, stood at attention. The driveway wound through meticulously manicured gardens, whose upkeep likely surpassed Anna's annual income. The three-story stone and glass edifice, both beautiful and imposing, was bathed in floodlights, leaving no corners for shadows to hide. "Ouch!" Marco said, opening her door. Anna's legs felt like jelly as she stepped onto the gravel. The rain had ceased, but the air hung heavy with its scent. Dante's Maserati was already parked by the entrance, and he awaited them by the double doors, jacket shed, sleeves rolled up, as if he hadn't just orchestrated a street brawl 30 minutes prior. "This way," he commanded, not bothering to wait for her reply. Inside, the house mirrored Anna's expectations: marble floors, crystal chandeliers, artwork that belonged in a museum. Yet, there was an underlying current of something more sinister. Men were stationed at every vantage point. Security monitors were embedded in the walls. Doors were reinforced to withstand an assault. This was no mere home. It was a luxury bunker. Dante led her down a hallway into a study adorned with dark wood and leather furniture, its floor-to-ceiling windows offering a panoramic view of the grounds. He poured himself a drink from a crystal decanter, offering her nothing. "I want to call my son," Anna stated, remaining upright, her arms now crossed. Dante observed her for a moment, then slid his phone across the desk. 2 minutes, speaker on. Tell him you're working late, nothing else." Anna seized the phone like a lifeline, her hands trembling as she dialed. 1 ring, 2, 3. "Hello?" Mrs. Chen's voice, her elderly neighbor who looked after Ethan when Anna worked late. "Mrs. Chen, it's Anna. Is Ethan—" "Oh, honey, he's fine. Fast asleep. Don't you worry about him. You take your time at work." Anna's eyes burned. Can you stay with him tonight? I'm going to be really late." "Of course, dear. You work so hard. That boy is lucky to have you." "Lucky?" Anna almost laughed. "Thank you. Tell him I love him." She ended the call, pushing the phone back across the desk. "There, I cooperated. Now, let me go home." "Sit down." This time, it wasn't a request. Anna sank into the chair, exhaustion finally eclipsing fear. Dante leaned against his desk, swirling his whiskey. "You're a mechanic. How good?" "Good enough to keep my shop running for 10 years. Foreign cars, high performance. I can fix anything with an engine." Anna met his gaze. "What does this have to do with anything?" Dante set down his glass. "I have a problem, Anna. My organization moves fast. We require vehicles that don't fail at inconvenient moments. Cars that can outrun the police, withstand damage, and keep going. Modifications the average mechanic won't perform, and certainly can't keep quiet about." Anna's stomach plummeted. "You want me to build getaway cars?" "I want you to keep my people alive." He said it as if there were a difference. "You'll work in my private garage. 8 cars currently. You'll maintain them, upgrade them, perfect them. In return, you and Ethan will have my protection. You'll be compensated handsomely, very handsomely. I have a shop, customers, a life." Dante's voice hardened. "The moment you stopped to assist me, your old life ended. The Volkov Bratva saw you. So did the Costas. Word travels fast in this city. By morning, every rival family will know about the woman who saved Dante Russo's life." "That's not my fault." "Fault doesn't matter. Reality does." He moved closer, his shadow enveloping her. "You have 2 choices, Anna. Work for me willingly, or work for me because you have no other option. Either way, you work for me." Anna shot to her feet. "You can't force me." "I can." His voice dropped to a terrifying whisper. "I can do anything I desire. I can make your shop disappear. I can guarantee no one in this city will ever hire you. I can have child services at your door by noon tomorrow." He paused. "Or I can ensure you and Ethan want for nothing. Safe, protected, comfortable. That's blackmail. That's reality. Welcome to it." Anna yearned to scream, to fight, but what could she do? Run? Where? The Russians already knew her face. Dante knew where Ethan slept. She was trapped. "And if I refuse?" she whispered. Dante's expression remained impassive. "Then work for me, or your boy won't make it to his next birthday." The words hung in the air like venom. Anna saw it then, the absolute truth in his eyes. He meant every word. This was no bluff, no negotiation. This was the brutal reality of his world. Loyalty or death. No middle ground. Her knees gave way, and she collapsed back into the chair, burying her face in her hands. 10 years of fighting to build a life for Ethan, 10 years of sacrifices, late nights, and bruised knuckles, all of it shattered in one night because she had stopped to help someone. How long? Her voice sounded hollow, even to her own ears. Until your debt is repaid. And when's that? Dante smiled, but the warmth never reached his eyes. When I say so. A knock at the door interrupted them. One of Dante's men, a young man with a scar across his neck, entered. Boss, we've got chatter. Volkov's people are asking questions about the girl. Castellanos, too. Expected, Dante said, straightening his cuffs. Double the perimeter. I want eyes on Moretti's apartment and the kid's school. Anyone gets close, I want to know about it. Yes, sir. After the man departed, Dante turned back to Anna. See? It's already beginning, but don't worry. I protect what's mine. I'm not yours, she insisted. You are. He walked to the door, then paused. Marco will show you to the garage. You start tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. Don't be late. Wait, I need to see Ethan. You'll see him when I say you can see him. Right now, you need to understand something. Dante's voice carried absolute authority. Fate placed you in my path tonight, Anna Moretti. You saved my life. Now you belong to me. The sooner you accept that, the easier this will be. He left, the door clicking softly shut. Anna sat alone in the study, surrounded by a luxury that felt like a cage. Outside the windows, armed guards patrolled the grounds. She had wanted to help someone, that was all, and now she was the property of the most dangerous man in Chicago. 3 weeks of captivity masquerading as employment. Anna soon learned that Dante's world operated on rules she could never have imagined. Every car had a specific purpose. The armored Mercedes for diplomatic meetings, the souped-up Dodge Charger for swift escapes, and the innocuous Honda Civic that, despite its soccer mom facade, could outrun anything on the road. 12 hours a day she toiled, deep within the compound's subterranean garage, a vast expanse of concrete illuminated by stark fluorescent lights. What began as a mere 8 vehicles quickly escalated to 12 as Dante continuously brought her increasingly complex projects. This one needs to withstand a spike strip and keep going, he'd instruct. Or, I need this Audi to appear standard, but hit 140 in under 10 seconds. Anna complied, driven by a stark reality. Each night, before her shift ended, Marco would present her with fresh images of Ethan, walking to school, playing at recess, undeniably safe. The unspoken message was chillingly clear. Continue working, and he remains unharmed. In 3 weeks, she had only seen Ethan twice, each encounter a brief, supervised 30-minute visit at her apartment. Insufficient time to explain, to properly embrace him, just enough to shatter her heart anew. Yet, amidst her despair, Anna was also piecing together the intricate tapestry of Dante's empire. She learned of his gambling dens, his protection rackets, and the array of legitimate businesses that seamlessly laundered illicit money. Names surfaced in hushed conversations: Volov, Castellano, the Irish operating from the north side, rivals circling like predatory sharks. Whispers about herself also reached her ears. The girl, Russo's new mechanic, supposedly closer to him than anyone. The latter was a blatant fabrication. Dante rarely addressed her beyond issuing directives. But in this world, perception often dwarfed reality. People believed she held significance to him, and that belief in turn transformed her into a potential target. Delivery day, Marco announced, casually tossing her a set of keys. It was Wednesday morning, barely past dawn. The Charger goes to the warehouse on Cicero. Boss needs it for tonight's meeting. Anna caught the keys with practiced ease. I'm a mechanic, not a chauffeur, she retorted. Today you're both. Nico's out sick and everyone else is on assignment, Marco countered, a grin spreading across his face. Besides, boss says you need to see how the operation works. Might as well start now. 20 minutes later, Anna found herself gripping the steering wheel of the midnight blue Charger, navigating Chicago's industrial district. The car hummed like a contented panther, 450 horsepower, a reinforced chassis, bulletproof windows, one of her finest modifications. The warehouse loomed ahead, a drab, squat structure nestled between abandoned factories. Anna guided the Charger into the loading area and cut the engine. Two of Dante's men materialized from the shadows. She recognized them from the compound. "Keys," the older one grunted. Anna tossed them over. "She's topped off. Gas, oil, everything. Treat her nice." She turned to head back towards the street where Marco was scheduled to pick her up. That's when the panel van careened around the corner. No warning, no time for contemplation. The van's side door slid open, revealing masked figures who immediately opened fire with automatic weapons. Bullets ricocheted off the concrete, sending sparks flying. Dante's men fell instantly, their blood staining the pavement. Anna instinctively ran. Her mechanic's mind immediately assessed the situation. She couldn't outrun bullets. She needed cover. She needed the Charger. It was still unlocked, its keys lying on the ground near the dead guard's hand. More gunshots erupted. A searing sensation brushed her shoulder. A ricochet, she distantly realized. She lunged for the keys, snatched them, and rolled behind the Charger's open door. Bullets tore through the side panels, yet the reinforced core held firm. 3 men had now exited the van, advancing steadily. Their movements were professional, coordinated. They weren't aiming to kill her, not yet. They wanted her alive. "Tell Russo we have his girl," one of them bellowed, his accent thick and distinctly Russian. "He'll pay good money for her back." Anna's hands trembled as she jammed the key into the ignition. The engine roared to life. One of the men was now just 10 feet away, his gun raised. She slammed the Charger into reverse and floored it. The sudden acceleration pinned her against the seat as the car rocketed backward at 40 miles per hour. The gunman leaped aside, but she clipped him, sending him spinning. The Charger then smashed into the panel van with a deafening crunch of metal. Anna didn't hesitate. She wrenched the wheel, shifted into drive, and launched forward. More bullets. The rear window spiderwebbed, but refused to shatter. She aimed the Charger directly at the warehouse's propane tanks, the kind every industrial building kept for forklifts. Come on," she urged, swerving at the last possible second, sideswiping the tanks hard enough to rupture them. Gas hissed into the air, invisible and deadly. One of the Russians fired again. The muzzle flash was all it took. The explosion lifted the back of the Charger off the ground. Anna fought the steering wheel as a colossal fireball erupted behind her, engulfing the warehouse entrance. The blast wave shattered nearby windows, scattering the Russians, 2 of whom were consumed by the inferno. Anna didn't glance back. She drove. Her hands didn't cease trembling until she reached the compound gates. Security personnel immediately swarmed the car, guns drawn, shouting questions. She couldn't answer, couldn't even breathe. The adrenaline drained from her in a sudden rush, leaving her utterly empty. Dante appeared in the driveway, phone pressed to his ear. When he spotted the bullet-riddled Charger and saw Anna stumbling out, blood on her shoulder, eyes wild, his expression turned cold and lethal. He covered the distance in 3 long strides. "Who?" he demanded. "Russians," Anna stammered, her voice cracking. "I think they killed your men. They wanted to take me, use me against you." Dante's jaw tightened. He turned to Marco. "Get me everything. Who ordered this? Where do they operate? I want locations within the hour." "Boss, within the hour," Marco affirmed. Then, more quietly to Anna, "You're hurt." "Just a scratch," she responded, though now that the shock was subsiding, her shoulder burned like fire. Dante guided her inside, his hand on her back, not rough, almost careful. In his study, he retrieved a first aid kit from a drawer. Of course, he had one. And meticulously cleaned the wound himself. The bullet had merely grazed her. "You could have run," he said, dabbing antiseptic. "Left the car, disappeared. They would have found me, found Ethan." "Smart," he met her gaze. "How did you escape?" Anna recounted the harrowing details, the reversal, the collision, the explosion. As she spoke, something subtly shifted in Dante's expression. Not quite respect, not quite approval, but close. "You caused a gas explosion on purpose?" Seemed like a good idea at the time. For the first time since she'd known him, Dante nearly smiled. "You're more resourceful than I thought, Anna Moretti." That evening, he did something unprecedented. He invited her to a strategy meeting. 6 of his top lieutenants were gathered around a conference table, discussing territories, shipments, and other matters Anna only partially grasped. Yet, Dante listened intently when she spoke about escape routes, about how cars could be tracked, about vulnerabilities in their transportation network. His men looked skeptical, but Dante nodded, taking notes. Afterward, he allowed her to use his phone to call home. Anna stepped into the hallway, her hands trembling again, but for different reasons. "Ethan, baby, Mom." His voice was bright, innocent, untouched by her nightmare. "When are you coming home? Mrs. Chun makes gross soup." Anna closed her eyes, tears stinging. "Soon, honey, I promise. Work's just really busy." "You always say that." "I know. I'm sorry, but